No, that is a player, folks. We have a player Cutlass coming in, attempting to pirate. The Intrepid does have VTOLs. Whoa, whoa, a little bit too quick. Welcome, pilots. My name is Hybrid V, and we are back once again to watch your takeoff and landings here in Star Citizen. I'm here at the Pyro gateway on the Stanton side because we're going to watch players come and go from this station. But more importantly, we're also going to watch players going through the jump point this time around. Yeah, we did this at one point a little while back when 4.0 was in the PTU for Evocati, but now this time around we're going to do it in live and see how things are shaping up this time with the updated jump points and whatnot. So, if this is the first time you've watched this series, this is where I watch players come and go from various spaceports around Stanton and Pyro, and I give them a rating out of 10 based on how cinematic their takeoffs or landings are. Cinematic takeoff or landings are something like you would see in any other sci-fi media. So, for example, what we're looking for when someone's landing is smooth, no hesitation, no impacts with the side of the hangars or anything like that, as well as pulling their gear out right before they land, using VTOL appropriately where available, and of course, as best they can, land in the center, though it's not as important because, of course, like I've mentioned in previous episodes, sometimes players are doing cargo missions. And then for takeoffs, we're looking for smooth takeoffs, no hesitation, no impacts, gear up as soon as they're up, VTOL is off as soon as they are moving away, and that's all we're looking for. But first, let's kick things off with actually going straight towards the jump gate here, because I do want to watch players come and go from the jump gates. So let's start off with that first. Okay, the jump gate already was open, somebody went through it as I got here, but let's go ahead and sit here, plant our flag, and see what comes through the gate. This time around, you guys will notice that the visual effects from the last time I have done this, the jump point effects are a lot more pristine looking. They're way more polished. It looks really, really good, although we still have the interesting perspective shift that you're going to notice here shortly. But first, we have a reclaimer with its lights on, doing a little bit of a ballet dance for some reason. Maybe this pilot is not feeling the jump gate and they're going to just go back at this point. But yeah, so we're going to see how many players we can actually get through this jump gate, and then we're going to move on to the other side. I will, of course, still watch players land at the Stanton Gateway Station, but we're going to come back to that later. For now, I do want to watch players go through the gate. We're going to go through the gate ourselves, and then we will absolutely watch players at the Pyro Gateway. Okay, we have, I think it's a Constellation, hard to say, and then we have another player here also lined up, and they are now opening the gate, and they're about to pop in. Now, I don't want to get too close to the gate. I'm not in nav mode, so I'm not going to get sucked in or anything like that. I don't want to get close because a lot of people really fly hard towards the gate. In the previous recordings I've done of this in the past, some people have actually rammed into me by accident, not knowing I was there. I am in a stealth ship, of course. Right now I'm in my Raven, so I don't want to get run over, but you can see those players pop in. Hopefully, as I record this, YouTube doesn't butcher the little tiny pixels that you see going into the jump gate. I'll try to point them out to the best I can and try to get a better angle here, actually. I might move a little bit further closer here so you can much more clearly see these guys as they come in. Especially with YouTube's compression, things can get a little bit fuzzy. What is this thing? What is this like a mine? Or, no, this is not a mine. This looks like some kind of like giant hockey puck of doom with the big light on top of it. I've actually never gotten close to any of these types of signages and stuff like that around here near the actual jump gates, and I don't know, it's just like this big. I think are there supposed to be turrets on that? I think maybe there's supposed to be turrets on that, but there's none. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Let's see. We have, what is that? Is that a Valkyrie? It looks like a Valkyrie. It's a very big rotund ship from this direction here. So that could be maybe potentially a Valkyrie prepping for a jump across. At this distance, it could be sometimes hard to tell. Sometimes the LODs on older ships get really nasty. The newer ships, it's a lot easier to identify further away, even when you're zooming in, because the LODs aren't as bad. Oh, the gate closed, and now I'm going to get pushed back. So the gates, when they close, they gently push everybody backwards here. As you can see, my ship is even getting pushed back. For some reason, the Stanton side is more egregious than the Pyro side. They both do it, but the radius for the Stanton side is much wider, pushing players back once the gate closes. And you can see pushing that player further back. Was that actually a Starlancer? Now that I'm getting a look at it here, kind of hard. Yeah, that's a Starlancer. Kind of funny. Okay, we have an MSR coming out at high speed towards the gate. Let's see how things shake out for this player as they come on in. Me personally, I prefer to come in really hot and then drop out of nav mode and slow down to basically nearly a stop, and then switch back nav mode on to start aligning and opening the point. Mostly because, as you can see, the MSR is getting pushed back right there like that. I don't like getting too close because I get pushed back, and I don't like that feeling. I hate having control taken away from me, at least when I'm flying my ships. The only time I'd say that's probably viable is when you're trying to enter the Pyro gateway station. That's the only thing I would say, because, you never know. Players can actually come and attack you while you're trying to set yourself up. And away the MSR goes. You look how tiny the MSR looks, right, in comparison to the actual jump gate wormhole there. And it's weird because, as many of you have probably flown through it, you feel how claustrophobic it actually is, but you can see the perspective shift. When you're an observer, you can see that the ships look actually tiny going through. What do we got here? We have what appears to be a Spirit looking to get through as well, jumping on the highway to Pyro. Looks like they're probably aligning. They're going to get pushed back here, but they should be fine here because they're probably finishing aligning. So there they go, getting grabbed by the jump gate, and away they go. And you can see how tiny they are. Now, wondering if that perspective shift... Oh, there goes that Starlancer finally as well, too. I'm wondering if that perspective shift has to do with them actually just leaving and the distance of them leaving, right? So they're actually going in that direction at a very high speed. So, of course, they look tiny as they move away, but the gate itself is not actually... I think this gate itself is actually not... We're not seeing the correct perspective that you would normally see if that was actually there in front of us, if that makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain, but I think that perspective shift has to do with the fact that the ships themselves aren't changing size whatsoever. They're just going further away from the observer, me in this case, and the gate itself is like a set size, and it doesn't actually conform until you actually connect with the gate properly. It's kind of hard to explain, but I think that's what the perspective shift that we're seeing there is, that the gate is actually not to proper scale, not at least until you get into it yourself, right? And the observer always sees the same scale regardless. It's kind of interesting. I wonder if that was intended or not. Either way, I still think it's a cool effect. All right, we have something tiny moving up to here on the jump gate. You can see the jump gate gets brighter. That means someone is aligning with it. So for you illustrious pilots that are looking to pirate other pilots, like that alliteration there, there is a way to identify when someone's aligning with the jump point and they're in nav mode. You can see the jump point will actually get brighter, which means someone is aligning with it right before they pop the cork. Let's get a little bit closer here also. So if you are someone who is aspiring to harass players before they go through the jump gate, that is actually kind of a telltale sign someone is trying to open the jump gate. You only have a little bit of time to get to them if you're trying to go after them. Of course, if they are going to go through the jump gate, you're probably not going to get them before they get through it, because it's a very fast process for them to actually align and jump through. You can see the two ships. Hopefully you guys can see with that YouTube compression. You can see they both split off left and right there as they decide to go their own way through the jump gate. Very, very cool. Very awesome looking. This is why I quite enjoy watching players go through it. Normally, we, of course, folks, on this show, we like to watch players take off and land, but ever since they've added the jump gates, I've always had fun in my own time watching players go through the jump gate, because it looks really cool. It just looks like players are just kind of part of the universe that exists here, and I can't wait to watch NPCs go through here also. Can you imagine watching big, giant haulers that are NPCs and players going back and forth between the stations, right? In the systems as well. Okay, we have a Corsair on approach. The gate is closed, so as you'll see here, the gate is going to light up brightly here shortly, or at least it should. Sometimes the effect is not always synced properly. There you go. So you see the gate is now bright. That means this player is now aligning themselves, and they're going to pop the cork here. Beautiful. No sound effect, though. I think they took the sound effect away, or maybe it's bugged. There used to be that really cool sound effect of an explosion, that really distant, really sci-fi sounding explosion when a player opened the gate, but it doesn't seem to do it now. It's kind of strange. I don't know why. Could be an audio bug. We'll see. Maybe a design choice. And away that Corsair goes, followed by a Valkyrie headed straight through, looking awesome. And connected is the Corsair, followed by the Valkyrie. They'll have like a brief white flash with... Oh no, the Valkyrie wasn't aligned. Oh, the Valkyrie's getting pushed back. Okay, there we go. Now they're getting through. Okay, so the Valkyrie was just flying through in nav mode at high speed and wasn't fully aligned quite yet, so they got pushed back. And then they eventually got thrown through. What is this down here? Take a look. Yeah, so that is definitely an option you can do, right? So especially on the Pyro side, if you're worried about players pirating you, fly in at nav mode directly towards the actual... Oh, it's a dead Avenger that has been... Looks like it's been salvaged because it has no hull. But yeah, so if you're, like, for example, worried about pirates attacking you on the Pyro side as you're headed back, fly in at the jump point in nav mode as hard as you possibly can. Even if you hit it and you get bounced back, it doesn't matter. All you need to do is get in, get aligned, open the jump gate, and then get sucked through. Oh yeah, there's a vulture up here eating stuff. The jump gates, especially on the Pyro side, are absolute treasure troves of wrecks. Mostly player abandoned wrecks, right? So they're excellent places to go make a little bit of cash if you're actually a salvager. And I see a player's moving up towards the gate there, but I want to kind of get a little peek at this vulture here with his door open in the back. Uh-oh. Someone's popping the cork on the gate over there. You can see the vulture here eating this aurora. Not exactly a healthy meal there. Should go for bigger targets in my opinion, but you know, you take what you can get. We have a Constellation also on approach here. And it looks like they are aligned. The other player that opened the gate is now going through the gate, and there goes the Constellation at Mach speed. Look at that. Looking awesome as they connect. Both are connected because that was a Spirit up there, and now we have a Constellation. Now they're connected and in the jump gate, and away they go. Looking beautiful. I think we probably are going to go through the gate here shortly. I don't want to hang out here for too long because I do actually want to get back to watching players take off and land, and I want to try the Pyro Gateway Station. I really want to watch players come and go from there. Ooh, there's a Hornet up here. Oh, this is a dead Hornet too, and also looks like it's been stripped as well. Yeah, we're going to go through the Pyro Gateway here and get through to Pyro and actually check out the Stanton Gateway Station because of the Fight for Pyro missions going on over there. There's going to be tons and tons of players moving about from there, so we're going to get a lot of really good landing and takeoff sequences from there. So why don't we go ahead and do that now? Alright, quick refuel stop. Let's go ahead and pop the cork here. Got another player here. Looks like they did that for us. All we have to do is align and pop on through here. And wait for this thing to fully open. There we go. We should be ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and boost forward and let this thing grab me. And off we go. And we are connected. And you can see how claustrophobic it is inside, despite the fact that when you're the observer from the other side, it looks ginormous in comparison. So that perspective shift, again, not sure if it's intended or not, but if it is, I do love it. Regardless, it is a fantastic effect. I love viewing it from that angle. It just looks really, really cool. But anyway, you've all seen this a million times over, so I'm going to go ahead and jump the camera forward. Let's actually get back to the actual Stanton Gateway Station, and let's see how things are shaking out over there, shall we? All right. And out we are. Let's go ahead and jump straight to Stanton Gateway. Hopefully you folks have been enjoying the Fight for Pyro series of missions. They've been pretty good. Let me know in the comments which side you have decided to go for. Are you a Headhunters fan? Are you a Citizens for Pyro fan? Are you a Frontier Fighters fan? Let me know what you guys have decided to choose. I know the Frontier Fighters had some really fun combat missions, as well as like fighting at the asteroid bases and blowing up gas canisters and stuff like that. Citizens for Pyro was more of the hauling missions and whatnot, and then I didn't actually check out the Headhunters one, so I don't remember what they do. Maybe it's a mixture of like combat as well. Either way, I think there's where like assassination mission or something. I don't remember exactly. But either way, let me know which ones you decided to go for, because I know that once you pick one, you're kind of locked in, and then once we get to the final phases of this mission chain, you're going to be doing the final phases for those contracts as well too. At least that's to my understanding. And from what we've seen in the Evocati patch notes that came out recently, I am allowed to talk about it. Being Evocati, I just can't show you guys any of it. I can talk about my experiences, but I cannot show you anything. So one of the things we're going to be doing is there's going to be basically like a new version of Jumptown, essentially. That's what these new last phase for Fight for Pyro is going to be. It's kind of like this version of Jumptown almost, but in Pyro. And the payouts are absolutely insane. They jump up to like 25 million credits for some of the payouts for some of those contracts. Yeah, you heard me right. 25 million credits for payouts for the end of the Fight for Pyro contracts. Now, of course, that requires you to move like something like 545 SCU containers of like a certain type of drug that you have to move around, right? But, you know, so that obviously is going to require quite a bit of organizational support. It's not something that a player is going to necessarily do solo. So, yeah, you solo Polarises, good luck. All right, let's check out this Constellation, because I was going to hope this Constellation was going to land here. Now they decided to land. Gear is down before they went through the air shield. Hey, folks, like I say all the time, it doesn't matter, right, in Star Citizen if you have your gear down early, but what we're looking for here is a cinematic landing. In this case, this player had their gear out a little bit early, and they're not using their VTOLs, those fans. The Constellation's fans don't really do anything right now currently. They're just for show, but still, we're looking for some cinematic takeoff and landing, something that looks really good, like something you'd see out of a sci-fi film or any other type of medium. Really nice centered landing though. I really quite enjoyed that. So we had early gear deployment, no VTOL usage, but they had a nice controlled, smooth push in and a tiny bit of stair stepping action, right? So I would like to see that improved a little. So I'll give them an 8. Could go for a 7, but I'll definitely give them an 8 because I think everything was there. We're just missing some elements that could really set that apart though, for sure. Okay, we have a Cutlass on final approach here. Now, folks, if you are curious about the Fight for Pyro final phase, where it's kind of like that Jump Town style battle, and you're like, well, I don't like the idea of having to move 500 plus SCU of cargo containers, and I don't want to do it as part of a group because I don't have a group, or I play solo, or I have a small group. There are going to be contracts that are much smaller. I'm just showing you guys that that is the largest payout that's available for that contract. Anyway, gear is down early for this Cutlass. No VTOL activation being used. Looks like they're gonna line up with the freight elevator because they're moving their stuff around. Also, Coalfire livery for this Cutlass. I really enjoy that livery. Nice and smooth so far. A little bit of hesitation. You see they're floating up in the air as they're kind of slightly adjusting themselves, you know. What we're looking for cinematic landings in this case is, even if you're trying to align yourself with a freight elevator, try to do it in all one smooth motion if you can. That is actually really hard, trying to align yourself with the elevator and doing it all in one smooth motion. I know, because it's hard for me to do it, and if it's hard for me to do it, then you know it's hard for other players to do it. And speaking of the Cutlass, if you're a Cutlass Red owner and you hate that strut that's in front of you as you're flying that obstructs everything, you'll be happy to know in the latest build for 4.02 that we're testing right now, they have fixed it. Yes, everybody cheer, clap, and rejoice, all Cutlass Red owners. That has been fixed. We have a Starlancer here on approach, and let's take a look at how they are doing here. Let's kind of mosey on in. I don't want to get in front of people. I don't want to get too close to them and tip them off that I'm here. This is why I'm actually flying the Raven. And the reason why is, obviously, Pyro is a bit lawless. Now, the station here is guarded by the UEE, so there's turrets and stuff everywhere. They will absolutely defend players against other player incursions. However, that doesn't stop players from blowing each other up anyway, and even then, it's Pyro, so I don't want to spook other players by getting too close and then making them think I'm going to pirate them. I am just a lowly saber here. I just want to, you know, watch players come and go. I don't want to attack anybody. That's also, again, why I'm in a stealth ship, because I don't want to tip players off too much that I'm here, not unless I'm too close. All right, let's see how this Starlancer is doing. Gear is out pretty early, so we're going to take a point away for that. Oh, it looked like they collided. Actually, that was just a roll. It looks like a keyboard and mouse player here. A little bit of hesitation. Ooh, careful. Don't give it too much control there. Look like they are lined up now. So a little bit of stair stepping as they're approaching here. And let's see how they do on the landing here. Are they dropping cargo off? It does look like it because they're strafing to the left here. A little bit of hesitation as they're holding themselves up. Maybe they're in third person, adjusting their third person camera, right? And they're going to kind of stair step their way in, a little bit of hesitation. And we're down to a hover. So again, what we are looking for here, folks, is a cinematic takeoff or landing. In this case, we're looking for a cinematic landing. If you watch sci-fi media of any type, you'll notice that they don't actually, you know, they don't have stair stepping, they don't hover, they're not hesitating or anything. They come in all in one smooth motion. They pull the gear down right before they land, and then they settle down on the ground there. So again, in normal terms for Star System, that works perfectly fine. They did everything they need to, and they're on the landing pad there, and they've done everything they need to. That works perfectly fine. We're not rating things on a technical scale. We're rating things on a cinematic scale. How cinematic that landing was. And we'd have to say, gear down early, lots of hesitation, right? As well as a lot of hovering over the pad, which is stuff that is not as cinematic as we'd like. I'd call that probably about a 7 because there was a lot of massive hesitation and stair stepping as they came in. All right, let's move on. Okay, we have a Corsair coming in for a landing here. Let's see how they do. Corsair does have VTOLs, and of course, let's see how the gear is. Let's take a cheeky look at it here, and the gear is down early. And are they going to use their VTOLs as they approach? Does not look like it. And they slid on the pad as they went in. The sliding on the pad always makes me laugh when I watch other players do it. It's just really fun. It's something that is really cool to do, especially if you have a ship that has wheels on the gear. I do actually quite enjoy people landing and sliding on the pad. It does look kind of fun, and it looks kind of cool. And actually, I think I will probably rate that positively if you had wheels on your landing gear. If you don't have wheels on your landing gear, I feel like the owner of the station would not appreciate you doing all kinds of damage like that to their landing pad. So early gear activation, no VTOL deployment, and they did slide along the pad like that. So I will say that's also going to be about a 7. Could be an 8 if they didn't slide on that pad. They definitely could have gotten an extra point for that. We have an Intrepid on approach. The Intrepid is actually really good for phase 1. It can hold all the cargo required. It can go pretty much across the system because it has an excellent fuel tank. It is just a really all-around great ship for that set of missions if you're trying to do, say, the Citizens for Pyro resupply missions. Let's see, gear is down. They are through the air shield, I think. Let's see, let me get a little bit closer here. Yes, they are through the... No, they just went through the air shield. Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize the color gradient changed there, so they weren't through the air shield yet, so they're a little bit early on the gear deployment. Also, no VTOLs being used here. The Intrepid does have VTOLs. Whoa, a little bit too quick. A little bit quick on the descent there, and a little bit of a nice spinal compression for the pilot as well as they impact the ground there. So we have a little bit of early gear deployment, and then no VTOL usage, and then a really rough landing, so I'll give that a 7 as well. Now, hopefully you guys have been having an okay time with this patch. It's been kind of up and down, whether the stability or the issues with the back end have largely been okay or been worse. Like, so for example, a lot of people report issues with the elevators still bugging out, the inventory system still bugging out. Obviously, there's just a lot of weird issues that go on here, and it has to do with the server health and the back-end stability. Luckily, the SCL that we got recently was actually really enlightening, where Benoit was talking about a lot of the various problems that we've been seeing, and CIG's new focus on trying to fix all those problems. So I'm really excited to see them really work on trying to knock those things out, as well as introducing the next phase for Fight for Pyro, and I really am hoping to see that this next phase is going to be really stable and really fun to watch and play, because I enjoyed the Jumptown stuff from the past. I'm talking about the old Jumptown before they really nerfed how much money you used to make doing Jumptown, and I'm really hoping that they're going to keep these really high payouts for these missions. I'm really hoping that we're going to see a lot of really good money that can be made, especially for group play, because one of the things that really killed Jumptown for me and my org was when they really neutered the amount of money you can make in Jumptown, right? So if you decided you wanted to go as an org, collect as many of those boxes and come in and finish the contract, sell as many as you could, and make millions and millions of credits and then, you know, dish them out to your org, that was really fun. We made so many really cool friends. We met people along the way. We would take over Jumptown. We would let people come in and grab boxes, or sometimes we would just lock it down entirely and not let anybody come in. You know, and then we would make friends. People would come in and, you know, hey, is JT friendly? And say, nope, if you come in, we're going to blow you up. Can I at least come in with my Avenger and take 1 or 2 boxes? All right, buddy, come on down here. But if you pull your gun out, we're going to blow you out. You know, and those people that would come in would talk to us in VoIP, and we ended up becoming friends, and some of them actually became org members later as well too. They joined our org, and it was just a really great time because so many players wanted to do it because there was so much money to be made. But then CIG kind of neutered the event. They reduced the payouts for that mission and overall event, and people just stopped doing it. And it was more just like kind of a PvP fest, which, I mean, Jumptown is supposed to be, but people just went there to blow each other up. They didn't really go there to actually make money anymore. And I like the idea of blowing each other up and making money because it just made the event fun. And it was just like, oh, yeah, okay, cool, I can go there to go blow each other up, but I want to make some money as well too, and I want to help my org members also make money as well. So there's an incentive to blow each other up rather than just blowing each other up just for the sake of blowing each other up. Because if I want to do that, I could just go to Arena Commander, right? So yeah, hopefully we will see them maintain those high payouts. Hopefully they're not too averse to giving players a lot of money. I would really like to see that as a nice carrot on a stick to get players to really engage with each other in a meaningful way, with some high stakes involved as well. Anyway, I am kind of already getting a little bit bored watching players come and go from here. Why don't we watch players come and go now from the actual jump point here on Pyro? Let's see what kind of trouble we can get into, shall we? Maybe we'll even see, I don't know, hostile players maybe come trying to attack me or other players, because this side of Pyro tends to be a little bit more kind of dodgy in terms of like how players interact with each other when they're trying to go through the jump gate. So why don't we go ahead and go get ourselves a stage, shall we? Hercules on approach towards the gate here, and I already see the brightness on my left side of my screen here, so that indicates that they are already aligning here. Yep, you can see the bright dot. So they're about to pop the cork here shortly. Let's see how they fare there. Again, because of the nature of Pyro, I don't want to get too close. I don't want to spook players into thinking that I'm up to no good. There they go. They open it. Ooh. It's a different sound change over here. Actually, that's actually quite loud. I don't think that's actually intentional. The jump gate is just blowing my eardrums out right now. Thank you. I mean, I always love nice loud sounds, but this is a little bit excessive here. And away the Hercules goes. Straight through. Looks like a nice straight path on this generation of the wormhole through. Yeah, I've never actually heard the... Oh my goodness, this thing is so loud. I'm going to have to turn this down in post. Yeah, the jump gates generally are never this loud. I mean, I'm not going to hate it. Like I said, I love when games are nice and loud and in your face, especially when you have nice dynamics and certain elements that are just really big and grandeur have really, really nice loud elements to them to really make it more dynamic. But this is a bit excessive even for me. We have a ship lining up here. Let's take a look. It is a Hornet aligning for a jump here. Now, they should have already been sent at this point. It's been quite a bit here. I don't know why they're... Oh, you know why? Because this ship is probably abandoned but left in nav mode. Yeah, so if you abandon your ship like you're in nav mode or whatever, and you disconnect or you just go back to menu or whatever, it leaves your ship out there, and your ship will consistently always will be able to align, but of course it'll never actually jump on its own, and of course it can't open gates on its own. So as you can see, it has the effect playing there. And there we go. Now we're closing out the gate. So yeah, let's see who else we get. We have an abandoned Mustang next to that abandoned Hornet as well. Don't know why players are abandoning their ships for some reason out here. Maybe their game crashes and they just decide not to come back, or they just quit out because they can't figure out what to do. Who knows? Don't know. But, oh, here we go. We have somebody getting ready to actually go through the jump gate proper here, though. Is that a Starlancer? Kind of hard to see. Let's zoom on in. They're about to pop the cork here. And a little bit of lag, but finally the jump gate is now being opened here. And they should be heading on their way here shortly. Let's push on forward and take a look. Ooh, this jump gate's got a lot of twisty bendies at the beginning, a lot of vortices in the beginning there. And away they go, and it looks like they are connected with the jump gate. And off they go. And we have a Corsair on approach. Looks like they're going to have to pop the cork here, though. Corsair is a popular back and forth ship for the... Oh, what is that? Is that turrets firing at them? Is that a no, that is a player, folks. We have a player Cutlass coming in, attempting to pirate this Corsair on approach as it's trying to get through the jump gate here. This Cutlass is not going to be able to take out the Corsair in time. It just has simply way too much HP. Maybe if he had a gunner, he could do a little bit more damage, but he just doesn't have it, and this Corsair is going to get away easily here as long as he doesn't mess up the transition, and away he goes. Off he goes. Basically scot-free, a little bit of hull damage for his trouble, whereas the Cutlass is going to get a crime stat for his. Yeah, didn't pick the right target there. I mean, it's one thing to spring your trap on a player to try to pirate them, but you got to make sure you pick the right targets. You can see the turrets are now firing their torpedoes at him. So he gets a crime stat for his trouble. It kind of springs his trap a little bit too early there. Yeah, if you're going to go after a bigger ship, at least bring a dampener as well, too, or maybe bring a friend, but yeah, if you're going to be in a Cutlass and you're going to try to pirate players, you're probably going to want to go after smaller ships. Yeah, folks, that's the first time we've seen a pirate on the show actually trying to do their work. I mean, it's Pyro. It's what you expect, right? Let's see if he goes after any other customers, I guess, while we wait here. And we have a player, looks like a Zeus, looking to open up the gate. You see how the Zeus is flying like mock stupid right at the gate. They're going to get pushed back. But you see they're still able to open the gate, and they're going to be able to go through. I'm just checking around here, make sure that the Cutlass is not coming in here to cause trouble again. But yeah, if you're ever worried about players pirating you and you may be in a smaller ship that you know can be destroyed pretty quickly, one of the easiest ways to do it is just fly incredibly fast towards the jump gate and do the entire process even if you get pushed back, because you'll eventually get sucked in once the whole process is said and done. And during that time, you move forward super fast, you get pushed back super fast, and then you'll get sucked in. During that time, it's really hard for a pirate to actually attack you. If somebody brings a dampener, that's an entirely different equation, but for the most part, that is the quickest way to get through the jump point and ensure that if someone does eventually try to attack you, you're at least a little bit squirrely and not too easy of a target there. So that's a good example of how you would do it if you're worried about players attacking you. Okay, we have a Polaris coming in. This is the first Polaris of the day. Let's see how they fare. They should already be lined up, so they should get sucked in immediately. Once the gate is open, it's very easy to get thrown in. So again, if you're also worried about players pirating you, let somebody else open the gate for you. If you see the gate's already open, come on in and fly at high speed. By the time you get pushed back, you'll automatically be pretty fully aligned at that point. You'll get sucked in. So the process is very fast, and you can ensure that players are going to have a hard time hitting you. Now, it's not going to keep you being immune from missiles, of course, but at least if someone's trying to hit you with guns, it's pretty much almost impossible. They're going to be having a hard time trying to get you. We have somebody coming in at very high speed towards the jump gate. Maybe they are also kind of accustomed, or they are aware of this pirate. I was looking in first person earlier, and I did notice some torpedoes going in and out, so I don't know if that player is messing with other players maybe around the station. So people are probably very heightened about potential pirates in the area. So players are absolutely going to be flying at Mach stupid straight towards the actual jump gate here in order to ensure they get through as quickly as they can and not get pirated. I'm just kind of looking around to make sure nobody else is actually trying to harass this player here. I think that's a Zeus. I can't really tell from this distance here. And away they go through the jump gate. I did switch also to a Firebird just in case, because the Saber Raven, as much as I love it, against like bigger ships that try to come in pirate. Oh, there's another player coming through here as well. Against other ships that come in pirate, like obviously the stealth is really good, but it's not a really necessarily the greatest 1v1 fighter unless you're fighting other fighters. It can be really good if you catch them off guard with that dual EMP, but yeah, the Firebird, at least I can catch other pirates off guard if they're trying to harass other players or whatnot. So I just switched to the Firebird real quick. Anyway, so that seems to be the last of them. Let's see who else we get next. And we have a Polaris on approach. It's been quite a while. It's been actually pretty quiet ever since that pirate showed up. Maybe people just don't want to actually go through the gate now that they're seeing somebody red running around the area, so they're just kind of avoiding it. I don't know, but I'm going to go back to Stanton because I did promise I want to show off people landing at the Pyro gateway on the other side of Stanton. So I'm going to go ahead and line up with this Polaris. I'm going to tandem jump with this Polaris. He doesn't know I'm here, but I'm going to tandem jump with him and actually see if we can get to the other side. See if I can try to get as close as I can to this Polaris to the jump point and see how that shakes out. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop my commentary here. I'm going to shut up and let the sounds play out. Looks like we're still in Pyro here. Oh no. Okay, so we are still in Pyro. This means that the server that we were supposed to connect to in Stanton has probably crashed. So if you ever have this happen to you folks where you're trying to go to either Pyro or Stanton and you notice it just puts you back in the star system that you just were leaving, usually what that means is it failed to connect to the server that leads you to the other star system. Either that server has crashed or just something happened in between where it failed. So I'm going to go ahead and make my way back to Stanton Gateway. And I'm not going to try again. I'm actually going to switch servers, and then I'll be right back. And it looks like we are here, and we successfully connected with Stanton this time around. So let's go ahead and make our way to the Pyro Gateway, and let's see who we can see coming and going from the station here, shall we? Let's go ahead and pop on over, and let's get ourselves staged. And catching up with this squirrely Avenger over here, and their gear is already down and they're upside down. They're going to have to rotate themselves around to get themselves correctly oriented. There they go. And let's see how they fare on the landing. So we do have early gear deployment. No VTOLs are available on the Avenger. So let's see how they do. So far, so good. Moving a little bit slow, but that's perfectly fine. There's no hesitation. As long as there's no hesitation, that's good. Oh, we're hovering a little bit too long. Ah, there we go. Because they're lining themselves as they come down, and a nice buttery smooth touchdown. So there was a little bit of hesitation there as they lined themselves up, but I did like the overall approach. I think that's a pretty fantastic landing there. Early gear deployment. I'm not going to take too much away from the hesitation because they were already lined up and then they brought it down nice and gentle. So I'll say that's a 9 out of 10. That looks really, really good. And we have a Vulture coming in for the exterior pads here. Hardly anybody ever uses the exterior pads anymore, mostly because the refueling and repairing that were on the pads tend to just break quite a bit. You still get some players every now and then landing on the pads, but generally it seems to not always work the greatest. However, I do know if you hover, it tends to be a little bit more reliable. I know it's kind of weird, but if you hover just over the pad, it should fix that problem, or at least be a little bit more reliable. Sometimes if you land, it's not too bad either. This player is kind of sniffing around a little bit there, this Vulture, and I think they may be just trying to refuel. They just did come out of Quantum, so it's possible they are trying to refuel. Maybe they're going to go and either jump to Pyro or sniff around the station for wrecks that spawn in the area. We'll see. It looks like they're hovering without using VTOLs, so that tells me they're probably just not trying to land here. They're just going to try to refuel, repair, maybe rearm or whatever it is they're trying to do here. But overall, let's see what they do. Oh, okay. Yep, I think that's what they're trying to do here. They're just trying to refuel because they did just come out of Quantum. Maybe they came from like New Babbage or something like that. And let's see where they go. Maybe they're going for the jump point. Either way, they could be looking for some of the wrecks that tend to be around the jump point as players crash into stuff or get blown away or something like that. So yeah, I think that is what that Vulture is off to do. We'll let them go on their merry way towards that jump gate. Ooh, do I spy a unicorn here? I do. We have a Hull C that appears to be, I think, loading up. The Hull C generally is a little bit rare because it has always just been broken. Its entire cargo loop tends to always break, and it's hard to tell when it actually works or not. You have to actually put some money in to test to see if it actually works or not. This time this player is actually offloading cargo here, so it looks like it's working for them. That's always good. That's nice to see. It's, like I said, hard to say whether it's actually working or not, which is the reason why you just don't see players using it. I have a Hull C, but, you know, at the end of the day, I never use it just because I'm always terrified I'm just going to be losing money on it because the gameplay loop, it's hard to say whether the gameplay loop even works. If the docking isn't broken, it's the loading and unloading is, you know, broken, or it spawns it in a hangar. Something always breaks with the Hull C, and it just costs you a lot of money and pain in the process, so I don't ever use it, and I imagine that's why a lot of other players don't ever use it either. Anyway, let's see if we get some customers coming in. And we have a Titan on the pad here. It's been actually fairly quiet out here in Stanton Gateway. Normally it's pretty busy as players are doing cargo contracts in the area, but just where I'm at right now, maybe even the time of day right now currently, because it's like 4 in the morning as I'm recording this, it might be a little bit too early, so it's probably not going to be a lot of action. I've been recording for the past, I don't know, day and a half or so, and getting these recordings. And it's not always been so busy on the Stanton side. Everybody's doing all the contracts in Pyro, so there's a lot more action over there. But regardless, it's still fun to see how players are doing in the Stanton side of things. And in fact, actually looking at this recording here, I've been recording for quite a while, so I may actually end things off here as this Titan goes on their way. Gear is still down as they leave, which of course we take points away for when it comes to taking off. You got to make sure you pull that gear up as soon as you're up in the air. And in this case up in space, so you want to pull your gear up immediately, but their gear is still down and they're traveling at a slow speed as a result because they probably have the automatic slowdown feature, also known as precision mode, active currently. And it looks like they're going to go and head out into Quantum, so maybe they're going to go to ArcCorp based on the direction, either ArcCorp or New Babbage based on the direction they're going. Another player coming in, away they go in Quantum. Maybe we can catch this player on approach here. Looks like they're going towards the small hangar. Can I catch them in time? Let's see. Kind of going a little bit too fast here. Slow down, you silly interceptor, slow down. We have a Pisces here landing gears a little bit early. Can I get in close enough here to see the landing sequence? And nice and smooth touchdown there. Overall looking good. Early gear activation. A little bit off-centered though. Again, don't really care too much about that. And their landing did look smooth, so I would say that's probably a 9. I didn't see the entire sequence, but I would assume they pretty much looked to be pretty good overall. Just had that early gear deployment. Anyway, folks, I think this is going to be a good stopping point. If you did indeed enjoy this video, please leave a like, as it really does help out the channel. And of course, if you want to watch more videos like this and much more down the line, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon as well. And of course, if you want to go a little bit above and beyond in supporting the work that I do here on the channel, consider becoming a channel member like these fine folks right here, whose contributions help immensely when it comes to me putting these videos together and getting them out to you all. But until next time, fly safe, because you never know who might be watching, and I'll see you all in the black.